normal people don't think that way, but I do. So back when I was racing motorcycles, I pretty much lost the fear of death. Maybe I did before, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not afraid of dying at all. And I am afraid though of rejection. I am afraid of looking stupid. I'm afraid of not being good enough. I'm afraid of all sorts of things that in my situation are worse than death. People ask me about, or comment to me about wearing my helmet when I ride motorcycles. There's an argument that the helmet won't, there's an argument that people, try this again. People comment, some of my friends comment about me wearing a helmet when I ride, and the argument is that only a small percentage of motorcycle deaths are due to head injury. Okay. My reason for wearing a helmet, what I'm afraid of, has nothing to do with death, because I don't care about that. I'm not afraid of death. Mine is that I'm going to have my ear ripped off from sliding along concrete, or my face ripped off, or this horrible scar. To me, that's a face worse than death. It's a fate worse than death. So, figuring out what the actual fear is probably more beneficial than asking what's the worst can happen. It's not what's the worst. It is what are the potential? What's the potential for something bad happening? And then you guard against it. There's some things you can't guard against. Is anyone going to like this video? I can't help whether or not they do. And the other thing I've discovered is there's a woman motorcycle adventure rider who I used to absolutely love watching her videos. Now I find her really annoying. But I am one person. She has got tens of thousands of viewers who still love her videos. Okay. Because one person doesn't like something doesn't mean that the next person's not going to like it. That's just kind of how it works. And I know that we all conceptually understand that, but just because we conceptually understand it doesn't mean that we emotionally understand it. And that's where the kicker lies, is we allow the emotions to drive. So figuring out what it is that is the actual fear that's preventing you from doing something, and figure out how to mitigate that fear is the trick. When my therapist asks me things like, why don't you go open a savings account? What are you afraid of? Well, I'm not afraid of anything. Her new one, her new motivator to me is, I'm going to challenge you. Well, I can see how that works with some people. It doesn't really work with me, because I know what she's doing. But because she knows I have the fear of rejection, and I have the fear of not being good enough, she plays on that, or tries to at least. All that she gets is a rebellious kickback from me, but pushback, not kickback. But yeah, I'm sorry, rambling, got off topic. When you no longer fear death, it is both liberating and debilitizing. What's going to motivate you? It has to be some other fear. So you mitigate the fears, and then you're not afraid of anything. So what happens when you're no healthy to be afraid of. A pit of vipers, great thing to be afraid of. Going to prison, great thing to be afraid of. Being attacked by a rabbit, probably not worth being afraid of. But you need fear to motivate you. How does this all work? You're no longer afraid of death, which is the ultimate what's the worst can happen. I guess everything needs to be kept in perspective. The likelihood of someone assassinating me on stage is small. The likelihood of someone laughing at me